Hello and welcome to the December edition of Made in Lincoln, UK. This is a social interactive documentary video magazine programme reflecting and promoting Lincoln District's life and events.
Hi there, my name's Jessica and welcome to The Wild Wood. The Wild Wood is a Signet Ink exhibition featuring artwork from the University of Lincoln students and graduates. The Wild Wood is a wildlife exhibition featuring artwork that the artists were inspired by when they were going for a walk in the typical British woodlands. A lot of the illustration features character illustration and their interpretation of what creatures they might find in the wildlife. So here we have a piece from Sarah Hughes. It's called Emergence. This is a limited edition giclée print. Sarah is a freelance illustrator based in Sussex, and she graduated from the University of Lincoln in 2013 with a degree in illustration. Since then, she's worked on illustrating children's book covers, greetings cards, and also has her range of goods for craft fairs. Studying illustration at the University of Lincoln helped Ellen discover her passion for picture book illustration and is now represented by Teresa at Prospect Agency. With her first 2 children books underway, Ellen is also busy creating comics, greetings cards and stationery that she sells in her online shop. Here we have a piece called The Changelings that Ellen submitted for the Wild Wood exhibition. We love her whimsical style and how colourful it is. Influenced by surrealism, cabinets of curiosities and all things weird and wonderful, Surreal Visions would like to become a full-time designer. Whether it is working for a company who shares her passion for the strange and unusual or selling her own artist prints to beautiful and unique shops, she would like to share her surreal visions to the world. After graduating from the University of Lincoln in 2013, studying illustration, Surreal Visions has been highly commended for 2 years running in the 2012 and 2013 prestigious Cheltenham Illustration Awards. You can also see her work in publications such as Illustrate Magazine, Stew for the Curious Kids, Bringing Back the Book, and United Academics Journal for the Social Sciences.
Hello, I'm Stephen Sharp and I'm the co-founder of Signet Ink. We graduated in 2013 and set up the company. We set up the company in order to bridge a gap between education and employment for the students of the University of Lincoln. I started studying art with graphic design, and then I sort of moved on to a foundation degree at Lincoln College before going to the University of Lincoln. I enrolled on the joint graphic and illustration course, but later deferred to just straight illustration, sort of my career in freelance illustration. I exclusively work digitally these days, and I'm sort of like aiming my work towards a teenage demographic, and sort of focusing on character design and
As I have a keen interest in history, I popped into the Lincolnshire County Council's archive to look at an exhibition that they put on about medieval life.
This is Lincolnshire Archives in Lincoln. I'm James Stevenson, one of the archivists, and this is our Magna Carta and Middle Ages exhibition. It's an exhibition that focuses on King John, the Magna Carta barons, and then it broadens out to medieval Lincoln and Lincolnshire. So there are sections on the ordinary inhabitants of the city, sections on illuminated manuscripts and that sort of thing. So yes, we hope people enjoy it. This is a letter from King John to Bishop Hugh of Wells, who was, his name was Hugh of Wells, but he was Bishop of Lincoln, and it dates from the year 1213, and it's asking the bishop to return from his self-imposed exile in France.
King John is undoubtedly one of the worst kings Britain has ever had, as he had no intention of complying with the Magna Carta. He refused to sign the Magna Carta itself, but conceded to attach his seal to it, which represents his authority. And here we have a couple of royal seals. There were numerous display panels, covering various topics of interest. On this table, a few scrolls are displayed. The writing was very neat, but amazingly small. I was fascinated by how neat and tidy these handwritten Latin medieval manuscripts are, and these beautiful illumination of capital letters and little motifs. And some of them have used gold leaf. Even though these beautiful books are unintelligible to most of us, unless you're one of those Latin scholars, nevertheless, we can still appreciate them as works of art.
Morning, I'm Andy Blow from Blow by Blow Productions, and for more than 20 years now I've been seeking out old films of Lincoln and District and bringing them to the public on DVD and sometimes on the internet as well. And it all started back in 1993 when it was the centenary of the Lincolnshire Echo. They'd never produced a video for their readers, and I talked to the Echo at that time, and we produced the first ever Bygone Lincoln. It was on VHS, and as I say, in 20 odd years since, I've managed to produce Bygone Lincoln number 2, number 3 and number 4, and also done Bygone programmes about Newark and Bassingham, and they're all collections of old film of these places which I then research and narrate so that today's audiences can see what was going on back in the day. Let me show you. This particular film shows how Lincoln looked before Pelham Bridge was built, and I'm indebted to my uncle Ron Blow, who went down to the site every few days during 1956, 57 and 58 to film the building of Pelham Bridge, and this is in Bygone Lincoln DVD number 3. And one of the relatives of one of these cyclists came up to me once and said that they'd recognised their uncle cycling past in the 1950s. This is the main girder of Pelham Bridge being brought to the site. That poor man sat with the dicky wheel there in that uncomfortable position all the way from Derbyshire. He must have had neck ache and backache. This is the crucial moment when the bridge was spanned, and here are some of the early users. And this is just edited highlights of a film that's half an hour long, taken by my uncle. As you can see, the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh there. In Bygone Lincoln DVD 3, we celebrate 50 years of Pelham Bridge. We recall the buildings that disappeared to make way for it, and see the Queen officially open the bridge on a rainy day in 1958. We see Victoria Bridge, the forgotten bridge of Lincoln. In the hungry 1930s, Lincolnians are on the march, against unemployment and against fascism in Spain. Less than a year later, in May 1937, it's the coronation of George VI, and representatives from many local organisations follow the civic party to the cathedral for a service to be held simultaneously with the coronation in London. 3 years later, early in World War II, this North Hykeham family are building an air raid shelter in their garden. We'll see how villagers in Spridlington lived in wartime, and what they did to the effigy of that awful Adolf Hitler. At Sinsel Bank in 1948, we see Lincoln City winning the 3rd Division North Championship in front of 20,000 fans. In 1960, the last train is calling at Rugby as Dr. Beeching's cutbacks claim the Louth to Bardney branch line after 86 years. Nettleham Pram Race was a jolly Boxing Day caper held in the 60s and 70s. It involved prams, pubs and dressing up to raise funds for a Christmas party for senior citizens in the village. We'll return to the film later, but just for a minute, let's go back to the start. The race began at the Roaring Meg pub, and in later years at the Brown Cow on the outskirts of Nettleham. If you started at the Roaring Meg, you were thirsty by the time you got to the Brown Cow. You were entitled to an agreed rest period under the rules. Not too long, mind. Note the committee members timing the arrival of the competitors. Dennis Turnell, local entertainer and popular landlord of the Brown Cow, liked to take part. That's him standing in the pram with Dave Ranshaw looking on. Dennis again, this time with the dummy. Behind him in the boater, Ernie Davidson, popular local singer and comedian who was official starter this year, believed to be 1968. And they're off, from the middle of the A46. Our film shows them nearing the finish on Nettleham Village Green. Dennis Turnell and partner are going well. Their pram sports a beer towel advertising Barnsley Bitter, which was popular at the time. Other fundraising efforts in Nettleham included a tug-of-war across the beck, a plastic duck race and a sack race down the beck. But it was the pram race that became the enduring event of the period. Before all this, the first funds for the Senior Citizens Party were collected in a giant whisky bottle in the Black Horse Inn in the days of landlord George Woods. An advisory panel moved in at one stage. Eventually, the exact positions were locked in and welding could begin. Well done, Steve Atkin, Rilmax Workshop Supervisor. On a project like this, history can bounce back at any time. Peter Lawson from Nettleham drops by with a picture of his grandfather, Albert Nicholson, a riveter at William Foster & Co. tank manufacturers.
I found this photograph quite a long time ago, When my mother died, there was a box full of photos. Nobody had a clue who they were or where they went, and these were all among us. And they were taken, and my sister and I took them home and sorted them all out.
The picture, taken in about 1918, shows Peter's mother when she was a girl of 7 or 8. Beside us, characters from the Fosters era are swinging onto their permanent moorings. This one is the works foreman.
Tritton, Wilson and Rigby didn't rest after the production of Little Willie. It was soon superseded by the rhomboid tanks, the prototype of which was known as Mother, and she was the first true tank. All the tanks that came after her were made in her image, went into production and actually saw action in the Western Front. It was here in Burton Park in January 1916 that Mother was brought for initial testing. She did everything the designers could have asked of her, paved the way for tank production in Lincoln. Behind me, friends of the Lincoln tank are having fun with a superb scale model of a Mark I tank built by one of the members, Peter May. At that 1916 demonstration, Mother performed well, with the world's first tank driver, Charlie Morn, of Foster's, at the controls. That's him photographed on the day, on the left, about to enter the tank. You can see Tritton on the right, Wilson in boots and cap in the middle, and Rigby, with his back to us, second from the left. 3 weeks later, Mother was taken on a much tougher course at Hatfield near London, in front of the King, Lord Kitchener and the Minister for Munitions. Mother, again driven by Charlie Morn, again performed brilliantly. 9 days later, the government's new Tank Supply Committee placed an order for 100 tanks, the first such order in history, and production began immediately at Foster's, and, using Foster's drawings, at a factory in Birmingham.
Well, my name is Andrew Fletcher. I've come from East Sussex for the weekend at the Asylum 2011. It's my first visit and I'm enjoying it very much. Everybody at the Asylum has been really, really kind. So many costumes, so many different aspects and takes on the concept, and it's one of those things that leaves you speechless because there's no way you can describe how wonderfully rubbish it is.
And creative.
Oh yes, and creative. I mean, I've gone with things that are very simple to put together. I've literally just shoved things on or things I've just found. But if you look around, there are people who have made their own weaponry, their own bits of costumes, and you can see the detail and the effort they put into it. It's really quite something. I would really recommend to anybody who has an interest in steampunk to come along to this event.
Yeah, we travelled up together.
Is this your first time?
Yep. It's brilliant so far. You hear about how nice everyone is at this event, but it's impossible to believe until you get here.
Dracula collection.
One of my friends that took us and got us into it.
Oh yeah.
We go now all the time, don't we?
Yeah.
Whereas they go, they don't go. We go up to the day and we dress up
Victorian
now. We just dress in our
Right.
Victorian gear. Apart from the 2 weekends, whereas normally we would,
Yeah.
But while we've been going to Whitby, really, the steampunk, over the 4 years we've been going, you could see it developing.
It's that kind of place.
Well, my name's Ben. I'm sometimes known as Cubanoid to people on Facebook or Brass Goggles. And this is the first time I come to Asylum. That's held in Lincoln every year. But I actually won honorary passes to come here because I'm the London tea duelling champion, which was an event that was held at Kew Bridge Steam Museum. They had the greatest steampunk exhibition there, which went on from May till August. And I've been battling the ancient Victorian sport of tea duelling, and I'm the London champion, so that's why I'm here. I'm here to not drink champagne, but to drink tea and battle to, uphold the honour of Kew Bridge.
No, not going up there. Can't go up there. Look around.
There we go.
We're going to go along this way. Follow us.
Hi there, my name's Jeremy. I'm from Melbourne originally, been in Bath the past year. So far, the few hours I've been at the festival, I've really enjoyed it.
Where did you hear about it?
Brass Goggles Forum, most likely. I've known about it a couple of years. I knew about it in Australia. When I moved over here, that was on the list of definitely, must do.
And here you are.
Yeah, and here I am, yeah.
What part of the world are you from?
Hi, I'm Janice. First got interested in steampunk last year, living in Lincoln and round the corner from steampunk, so this year I decided to join them.
Hi, I'm Lady Lydia from Leicester, and this is my first steampunk convention, my first time at Asylum. I got into it a couple of years ago. I went to a science fiction convention, London Film and Comic Con, and I met Robert Rankin, and he introduced me to this through his books and suggested that I come along, and so I have. I was a bit nervous about turning up, but I've met some wonderful people. I haven't been on my own because everybody has been so friendly, although I was nervous coming down by myself. Everybody's just been so nice. I got into it because I love the genre, I love the outfits, I love wearing the corset and making all the bits and pieces that go with it, and it's just been a fantastic experience so far.
That's before.
See it through the wing. Yeah. Just push me around. So I'm going to do that. Right. Okay. Then if you can just look towards me as well.
It smells like gin. It's right here. We had like cucumber here. It was like a little.
Really nice. Thanks.
Sorry.
I've done pretty much everything now. I've run out of costumes.
Yes.
How long did it take you? London, I suppose.
Well, I go by the name of Reverend Captain Hulu Porro, and really I'm interested in this kind of thing from a love of science fiction from my youth, the Jules Verne kind of thing, and also through a love of model making. I'm actually here with a stall today where we're selling guns and badges of the Royal Flyerists Corps. So for me it's the excitement of being able to create little stories and tales that then other people will purchase and take on and create their own little stories and personas as well.
By the way, she also said that she was going to do it again in 3 hours.
You ready? So we're going to go right around the castle on the other side, yeah?
I'm from Mansfield.
Oh yes, is this your first time?
It is, yes.
Oh, right. How did you hear about this?
One of my friends, Julie, so yeah. Yeah, she's been doing steampunk for a long time, and I've been doing it quite a while, but this is my first time at Lincoln Asylum. It's fantastic.
Oh, you've had a good weekend?
Oh, it's been amazing. It's been absolutely stunning.
Hasn't it just?
The weather's been great, everyone's made an effort, it's been fantastic.
Okay, folks, have you had a good weekend?
Yeah.
Yes, brilliant. Very good, thank you.
What are the highlights?
Other people?
Yes, yeah, meeting other people and the friendly atmosphere.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The costumes?
Yeah. People's inventiveness.
Uh-huh. The pub?
So it's a weekend you want to get?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we have about 3 months of Facebook tagging.
Yes.
I like it. So how, folks, how have you enjoyed your weekend?
It's been great.
Been
great. Really good.
Really has.
Yeah.
What were the high points?
Meeting new people, I think. There's been a lot more new people this year. Apparently we've had about 400 new people that had never been before.
Yeah, and the events have been more spread out, so we've gone further into Lincoln rather than staying around the lawns.
And Lincoln has included us more, I think, because of that.
It's been lovely talking to people who aren't steampunk, who've been saying, why are you here, what is it, oh this is wonderful. And that's, normally it's just between the castle and the lawn, whereas this year it's been everywhere.
Yeah, because
and
it's out
lovely.
in the castle square, the stalls out in the castle square, mixing with everybody else that's just here normally. And the converts. The story of one little girl that started off, come down with her daddy, just to see the castle and the cathedral just for the day. And her daddy saw the stalls outside and saw the people, and her daddy ended up taking her down to Primark and buying her a little, jazzing it up, and then she came up, and by the time she came back up the hill, she was a little steampunk. And that's just fantastic.
Yeah, that's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah. And the Lincoln people, I think, have really embraced the whole steampunk event this year.
Much so.
And it's been, we've felt really, really, really welcome here. It's been fantastic.
I have to admit, my favourite place is Castle Square.
Yes.
I love being out.
We spent most of our time at the cafe
there. You had a good weekend?
Oh, fantastic, yes.
And what's been the highlights of the weekend?
I don't know, it's just... I like the daytimes, the wandering around.
It's just the social thing of, sitting in a pub, drinking with other strange people. That's it, I think.
And where are you from?
The routine is...
London.
And Cambridgeshire.
Oh, great. So you've had a good time.
Oh, we always do, that's why we come back every year.
Yeah.
Fine and dandy, look at him, there he goes. Ain't he sweet, see him coming down the street. Now I ask you very confidentially, ain't he sweet? Oh, ain't he nice? Look him over once or twice. Oh yeah, now I ask you very confidentially, ain't he nice? Just cast an eye in his direction. Oh me, oh my, in that perfection. What hardy I repeat. Don't you think he's kind of neat? Now I ask you very confidentially, ain't he sweet? Cast an eye in his direction. Oh me, oh my, ain't that a piece of perfection? I repeat, don't you think he's kind of wow, is he neat? Now I ask you very confidentially, don't you think that he's some eye candy? There he goes, look at that pose, strutting down the avenue. Goodness knows, he's so fine I gotta make him mine. Oh my.
Well, there we go. That wraps it up for this edition. Now remember, this is your video platform. If you have any ideas or topics or issues that you feel would be of interest to the people throughout the Lincoln district, then get in touch with me and I'll put it in the big picture.